Okay, Jim, we're going to look at your putting stroke, and this is before we did any adjustments. This was in round one, and we're going to compare you to Tiger Woods. So first, let's look at your setup. Like your setup, your arms are just comfortably under your shoulders. You have your elbows slightly uh, tucked into your sides. That's perfect. Width of stance looks good. Eyes right over the ball. Everything looks really good in your setup. Let's see Tiger stroke first as he comes back. Nice solid stroke, no wristiness, good shoulder rock. As he makes contact, his eyes are looking down. He keeps his eyes still on the ground as he continues forward with his stroke. He's not letting his eyes follow the ball as it rolls towards the hole. He's a putt hole. He's now finished the stroke. The putter is finished and is held right there. And so he won't start to turn until he completes the stroke, and he'll hold this finish. He'll hold his posture. He'll hold his follow through in the same position. He doesn't recoil the putter back. And then he will slowly turn to look. But as he's looking, he's still holding his posture, his spine angle, and his putter finish. Let's look at your technique on the left. As you go back, you're keeping your wrists firm. You're not letting them get wiggly on you. But you do let your eyes follow the ball as you follow through. And so you're kind of lifting, you're losing your spine angle. And so there's a lot of the geometry of your stroke is fluctuating during the stroke. And one of the things that we worked on in this golf school session, this putting session, was the putt hold look. So let's take a look at how you adjusted your stroke in round two. Okay, on the right is round two after we worked on some drills of putt, hold, and look. Your eyes are down, very solid. As you come through, your eyes are still down. Your eyes are still down. You come to it. You've stopped your stroke. There's a little bit of recoil that'll get better as you practice. You sometimes have a tendency actually your follow through to be too long. But I like the fact that you are keeping your eyes down. You want to feel the putt before you see the putt. And so the only thing I would continue to work on is try to hold that finish just a little bit longer. Hold the putter's finish and not let it recoil so quickly. When it gets to the end of the stroke and stops moving forward, hold it in that stable position while you turn and look. Now, during this particular exercise, you are really focused on not turning, and a completed ownership of this technique, you're only going to need to hold your eyes down for a moment or two after the putter has finished moving forward. So you'll putt the ball, the putter will swing through the ball to a point at the end of the follow through, and then it'll stop. And then once it stops, that's when you want to hold everything in position. You want to hold your putter position. Your eyes are still on the ground. You hold that position for a moment or two, a second or two. And then you can go ahead and turn and look. But as you're turning, you want to continue holding your spine angle and that putter. In this particular drill, you're really working hard on keeping your eyes down and not letting your head turn. But in the finished product of this stroke, you could turn a lot sooner than you did. And here you finally did turn. So right now you're turning. So what I would like to see happen is while you're in this position, you would turn and look and hold that position. But that is a much better improvement. Continue to work on that putt hold look. Now we're going to look at your chipping technique, and this is round one where I just videotaped. I didn't do any adjustments to the technique. I'm going to compare you to Luke Donald. First, let's look at your setup. I like the fact that you have your hands in front of the ball, which is good. You can see that you certainly have a more narrow stance for a short game shot than you do your full swing shot. But Luke has his almost touching each other. I mean, his feet are very close together. So that is one of the differences that I see here. Let's look at your weight distribution. I'm going to draw a box from your ankle, center of your ankles to the top of your head. It looks like you're about 50-50. You're pretty evenly balanced there. You may even have slightly more weight on your back foot than your front foot. Luke has more weight on his left side than his right, just slightly. You can see how now he looks like he's chipping uphill, so it's not as obvious on this setup, but if that was level ground, he would definitely have more weight. You would see those legs angled even further. But your setup is pretty good there. The ball position is a little bit further back than I would like for this shot. If you get the ball too far back in your stance and you have too much shaft lean, the leading edge will dominate the swing, and the leading edge will catch the turf in too dramatic of a way, and then you have to be so precise and perfect with your contact to the ground when you have the leading edge hitting the ground. And we talked about that later in the session about using the bounce, because it gives you a more forgiving action around the golf ball. You don't have to. You could hit an inch behind the ball if you're using the bounce, and it won't get stuck. It'll slide on through and still give you a good result. Let's look at your movements now as you come through. So as you go back, you're pretty stable there. You're not rocking and shifting to the right. You're now starting to move through. If you make contact, keep a nice little arm swing. You're not really flipping your hands at the ball. I like that a lot. I like the fact that your head is swinging up. That is actually something that the pros do. A lot of people think you're supposed to keep your head down and eyes down on these chip shots. You actually should go ahead and let your chin swing and your eyes swing and your head swing with the chest. You want to keep your head down with putting, but not with chipping. So that's pretty good. Let's look at as Luke comes through. He's also swinging through. Now, if you watch his lower body, though, he's letting his hips turn. Watch that right knee. So you're turning your upper body, but you're not letting your lower body participate. And so you want to kind of feel that little swivel of the lower body with the swing. So it's all connected right there. Now that was in round one before we did any adjustments. Let's look at your technique in round two.
See, I think do I put it back in my stance too far then?
Let's move it up a little bit. I want you to do a practice swing for me and hold your finish for me. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, good. Let's put it right there. Good. All right, let's go ahead and hit the ball. Hold that finish for me. Now you have a little tendency. Watch me. You're starting left, but you have a little tendency to do this.
Okay.
Reverse weight shift.
Uh-huh.
Do a practice swing. So you really stay there the whole time. So you're almost moving this right hip to hit the ball with that right hip. Almost hit the ball with the right hip. Hit the ball with the right hip. Yes. Feel that little push?
Uh-huh.
That gets the low point in front of the ball.
Yeah.
When you rock back, your low point gets back here, and that's where you hit the ground.
And I take all the speed out of your.
That's right. So you don't want this right hip going away from the target. You want it going to the target. So lean to the left. Yes, that's cleaner.
Now we're going to look at that change that you made as you come through. You can see how your right hip now, compared to what you did on the left screen, much better. Now you're letting the lower body be part of the action. You can kind of see how, look at these angles now. You're going towards the target with your legs, and your right hip is turning towards the target. And so you remove that little reverse weight shift where you kind of fell back into your back leg. Much better technique, Jim. So just continue to working with that until you are comfortable and that movement is very familiar. I want you to, what I call, own this technique, so that to own it means that's the way you do it even when you don't think about it. It's just automatic. And that requires practice. So you need to dedicate yourself to practicing this more. Every time you have a round of golf scheduled, go ahead and arrive earlier than you maybe normally do. I don't want you to, if you have a 9 o'clock tee time, don't show up at 8:30 and check in and go hit a few balls and putt a little bit and go tee off. I want you to say, I'm going to go an extra 15 minutes early, and I'm going to spend 15 minutes practicing this technique. And you just need to reinforce it until it is very comfortable, and you don't have to think about it quite so much. But that is a big improvement. I really like that, Jim.